Shall we start? You know, there are times in our lives, and this is one of them, when there are absolutely horrendous things happening in the world. And, you know, we are all thinking about this all the time. But it is times like that that really do make us think that we have to celebrate the good stuff. And this is good stuff. As I walked into the college and I could hear the hubbub, and I just felt happy. And I have to say my morning was quite a busy one. It's quite a stressy one. And then there's everything else that's going on too. I'm so pleased to be here, and I'm so pleased that so many people have turned out today. Anyway, without further ado, because it really is about all of you, we are, basically, I think it's meant to be music. Anyway, that's the first hitch. But I'm not going to speak for very long because this really does have to be about everybody here today. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with presenting winners of some of our college prizes. So I'm going to ask Trudy Senavaratna, our registrar, to come to the stage, and she's going to introduce our winners.
Careful of that thing over there. Great. I think the sound is back on now, isn't it? I think it was you can hear, can't you? Brilliant, brilliant. Madam President, thank you very much for that. Indeed, I'm absolutely thrilled to see all of you here, and we are going to celebrate, despite, as you say, the sadness, but we're allowed to also celebrate the amazing work that you all do, that the college does. So let's, quietly celebrate this afternoon. Actually, you can be loud as well. So thank you, Laddie. Our first award is the President's Prize. This prize is awarded to the candidate considered to have achieved the best overall performance in the CAS MRC Psych examinations. And the winner for Diet 2 in 2022 is Dr. Daniel Di Francesco. Okay, so Daniel, please come up.
That looks looking good. One more this time with feeling.
So we want lots of whooping and clapping. So too loud is not loud enough. So the next award is very special. It's the Alexander Mezi Prize. Alexander Mezi was born in Romania and qualified in medicine at the University of Geneva. After some years working in Switzerland and in France, he arrived in England in 1951. And in a distinguished career was elected both FRCP Edinburgh and FRCpsych. His clinical practice included extensive work on mental illness in immigrant communities, and his book, Muse in Torment, is an elegant and extensive consideration of the psychopathology of creativity. The Alexander Mezi Prize is awarded annually to the international medical graduate practicing in the UK who obtains the highest number of stations passed in CASC and the highest pass mark in paper B when completing the MRC Psych examination. In 2022, the winner is Dr. Sarah Elanani. And unfortunately, our final prize winner, who is Dr. Benjamin Cross, is unable to attend today. But please can we give him a huge round of applause. So just an enormous congratulations to all our prize winners, and I shall hand back to our President, Laddie. Thank you, Laddie.
Okay, so thanks, Trudy. Now, the President's Medal winners are chosen by the President. In this case, not this President, that President, the immediate past President. For those of you who couldn't see where I was pointing at Adrian James, who was our previous President. And the President's Medal is given to people who've done something. I mean, we all work really, really hard, and we all do special stuff. But the President's Medal is given by the President themselves, and it has to be approved by the College Nominations Committee, so you can't just nominate your friends. But it's an initiative that began in 2010, and it's designed to honour and offer the college's gratitude to a small number of highly deserving people every year who've contributed to policy, public knowledge, education, meeting population and patient care needs. And that's one of the cruxes of it, actually. It's about managing, meeting patients' needs in really diverse and challenging circumstances. And the awards are instituted to extend the ways in which we celebrate and honour people. And in psychiatry, we don't get many presents, really. We get a lot of flack. And this is one of the ways to say, look, you are people who supported mental health, and you continue to make significant contributions to improving the lives of those with mental illness. So this year, Adrian has chosen 8 people whose contributions in diverse fields that are relevant to mental health. These contributions are really inspiring. They're inspiring to us as a profession. So I'm going to welcome Adrian to the stage to present the medal. It's out of practice. So, our first medal winner is Professor Alka Ahuja. So as Alka's having her photo taken, I'll just remind you that Alka's a consultant child and adolescent psychiatrist at the Aneurin Bevan University Health Board, a national clinical lead for the Welsh Government Technology. So Alka is the Welsh Government lead for the Welsh Government Technology-Enabled Care Cymru Centre. She's vice chair of the college's child and adolescent faculty, and the public education lead for RCPsych in Wales. She's also visiting professor at the University of South Wales and an honorary professor at Cardiff University. So I'm going to, Alka, do you want to say a few words?
Thank you very much, and thank you to each and every one of you for believing in me. And I think, I'm not going to say a lot, but medals and awards like this just acknowledge and appreciate the work you are doing and encourage us to do more. I would like to thank my team and all my colleagues who've been on this journey. Some of you are here, and all those who didn't believe in me, because actually I think they pushed me to do even more. My family, especially my children, who've come along and believed in my crazy ideas, and my family in India who are watching this online. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Our next medal winner is actually Dr. Michael Doherty, but unfortunately he can't be with us today, so he's going to get his presentation at a different time, I hope. However, next we have Dr. Alex George. Some of you might have heard of him. He's famous. So Dr. George is an A&E TV doctor and is ambassador for mental health. Alex has had a really hugely successful podcast, The Waiting Room. You need to listen to it. And he's got a rapidly growing audience on YouTube and TikTok. So Alex actually uses his platform to help people understand more about mental health, but also sexual health. And he's worked with Downing Street, he's been an ambassador there, and he's done enormous amounts for raising the profile of psychiatry and mental health. And his first book, Live Well Every Day, came out in March 2021. He's not paying me for that. Anyway, Alex, would you like to say something?
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for that. I'm going to say just a special thank you to Dr. James, because when I came into this role about 3 years ago, I think a lot of people thought, what the hell is this guy doing? I probably thought, what the hell am I doing as well? But thankfully, I had a father figure who really helped me and said, you know what, we can do good things here and actually across the mental health sector. I was really grateful for the support that I received. And, it is hard sometimes with the news we've had in the last few days and things going on. It is quite challenging, but we must celebrate some of our victories as well. Over the last few years, I've been working at trying to get funding for early support hubs for 11 to 25-year-olds to sit alongside a lot of the services that are there. And I'm very grateful for a lot of the support I've had on those hubs. And, 2 weeks ago, we received confirmation that we'll have £5 million of funding for the pilot hubs, which will allow us to set up these initial 10 hubs, look at the services they can provide, evaluate them, and hopefully develop something that can be rolled out nationally. So I'm just really grateful. And on a personal note as well, I've struggled quite a bit with my mental health at times, and I've had amazing support from psychiatrists and doctors who have looked after me. And although you don't always see or hear the thanks that you should have from people, please know that it is greatly appreciated. So thank you for this medal, and thank you for your work.
Our next medal winner is Bryony Gordon. So Bryony is a journalist, author, and mental health campaigner. She's worked at The Telegraph since 2000 and has 2 Sunday Times bestsellers, The Wrong Knickers and Mad Girl. She also has a podcast series, Mad World, in which guests talk candidly about their mental health, and guests have included everyone from nurses to Prince Harry. She's the founder of Mental Health Mates, a peer support group that now exists across the UK. Bryony, do you want to say some words?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. James. This is a great privilege, great honour. Bittersweet given yesterday, and I mentioned, the dropping of the Mental Health Act, but we, keep on doing what we need to do. And I just wanted to say that no matter how much people like me wang on about mental health in the press and on television and all that, none of it makes any difference without you guys. So I just wanted to thank you, and I'm feeling a bit emotional actually, so I'm going to leave it there. Thanks.
Our next President's Medal is from Marcia McAdam. So Marcia is an expert by experience. Marcia's an expert by experience, and she's an influencer and ambassador. She identifies as having borderline personality disorder and physical health comorbidities. And Marcia has used her lived experience to inform policymakers and clinical staff. And what Marcia does is support service transformation in both physical and mental health care. She's a vice chair of the NHS Confederation's Mental Health Network and is the expert by experience lead for Equally Well UK. And I have to say that I've got to know Marcia over the last couple of years, and she's not only been someone who really advocates for mental health across the country, but she's also someone who's really supportive. She'll actually give you a ring and say, "How are you doing?" And that says everything about Marcia. you want to say something?
I feel like Cinderella. I've just got back from Australia as part of my Churchill Fellowship. As you said, I'm someone who identifies as having had the diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. That meant that I got the life-changing therapy that saved me from myself. And I just want others to not go through the pain and hurt of the diagnosis, but also being excluded from services. And Adrian, it's been an absolute pleasure. You've dared to be brave with me. Whenever I do something together, it's almost like brace-like position because of us raising our heads above the parapet. I want us to acknowledge the harm that that label does do. It excludes people, but I'm hopeful for the future. And I'd also like to thank Professor Peter Fonagy, who is my partner in crime and who also created the therapy that changed my life. And I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for the last few years. You've worked so hard, so thank you.
Our next medal winner is Dr. Tim Ojo. So Tim is a senior consultant psychiatrist in the Brighton and Hove area. He's a general adult psychiatrist and he's got special interest in occupational psychiatry. He's actually an ex-medical director and he's had over 12 years experience in formal medical leadership. And he was actually one of the senior founding fellows of the Faculty of Medical Leadership and Management. And those who know that, it's a very important organisation, and anyone who's a leader is involved with it. He was the college's Associate Registrar for Policy Support from 2017 to 2022. And he does huge amounts of coaching now. He's a mentor to many people. He's been a mentor to me, and he is someone who, you'll notice, Adrian gave him a hug when he came in. I think he probably feels like he's a bit squeezed to death because he walks and everyone gives him a hug. He's been an incredibly supportive colleague, a really genuinely caring person who just wants people to be doing better, and that's for everyone. Tim.
It's a great privilege to be standing here. So I won't talk for long. All I'll say is that I had 17 and a half years in medical leadership in some form or the other, 12 in formal leadership and 5 in the college. And if you ever had an exemplar of joy in leadership, my 5 years in college was an absolute pleasure. My work was to amplify the impact of your reports and your position statements, and I worked with completely committed colleagues to bring about the best we could in the short time I was there. The 5 years flew by because I was having so much fun. So thank you for this privilege. It's really, really a pleasant surprise for me, and I appreciate everybody who supported me while I was doing the job. Thank you.
So, our next medal is for Dr. Lily Reid. So Lily is a specialty doctor in old age psychiatry at Northamptonshire Healthcare NHS Foundation Trust. I'm going to say that actually Lily is a special kind of person, actually. She's also been the Trust SAS tutor, she's the Caesar Fellowship Scheme lead, she's medical appraiser, and she's chair of the college's SAS committee. For 6 years, she's worked for the UK government as a medical advisor, research manager, and head of policy. And since returning to the NHS, she's passionately worked to break down the barriers encountered by SAS doctors. And I have to tell you that she's doing that really, really, really well. Lily has got this very quiet but determined way of knocking on the door, making sure she's sitting at the table, and reminding everybody that SAS doctors are a quarter of our workforce, and that they are people who need to be acknowledged and recognised. And I think that's one of the reasons why Lily has received this award. She's done amazing things. Lily, do you want to say something?
Very much for this. I'm really humbled. And when this was announced, I contacted Adrian and say, is this a prank from one of my friends? And he had to write about 3 messages to check that it's him, who said, no, it's not. So what I would like to say is that I can't think of this award waiting for me. I think this is for all the people who are advocates for patients, carers, other marginalized group. It so happens that I'm a SAS advocate, but I think all of you in this room who haven't been nominated this year will be as deserving or not more than me. And what I would like to say is I love the SAS doctors, and if you're a SAS doctors in this room, this is for you. Thank you.
Our final President's Medal winner this year is Dr. John Russell. So John's been a consultant psychiatrist with the South East Scotland Intellectual Disability Service since 2002. He was the college's Associate Dean for Curricula from 2018 to 2023, and I need to tell you that was no easy task. Poor old John. I'm surprised he's still got hair, actually. During his time, he led the college's curricular review project, and that successfully gained GMC recognition for the new high-level outcomes for all curricula. And as I say, it wasn't easy to do. There was lots of consternation, lots of angst, and John just managed all this with incredible calmness and aplomb. John's also been a member of the UK Psychiatry Recruitment Board. Over to you.
Many thanks. It's a great honour to have been awarded this presidential medal, so many thanks for that. In accepting it, however, I do so in acknowledgement of also help and support that I received from colleagues in the curriculum revision and curricular implementation working groups, and also trainers and trainees, many trainers and trainees across the UK. In particular, I'd like to thank the past and present colleagues in the college from curricular, training and workforce and portfolio online, presidents, deans, associate deans, and special advisors, both past and present. The SAC and SSAC chairs, who did a huge amount of work for their specialties. And trainee representatives, the lay and patient representatives, my colleagues in South East Scotland, and also my partner Connor for keeping me going as well. So in 2018, our vision was to develop a curriculum framework that enhanced psychiatry and psychiatry training in the UK over the next 20 years. I believe we achieved that goal, and we should be very proud of all that has been accomplished. So this award is much appreciated, and many thanks.
So thank you to all of our, and thank you and congratulations to all of our President's Medal winners, and thank you to Adrian for coming all the way to give them out. Anyway, so now let's start the scary awards. All right, so the awards, the RCPsych Awards for 2023. Our first award is PsychSoc of the Year, that's Psychiatric Society of the Year. And that's to recognise the pivotal role that psychiatry societies at medical schools play in raising the profile of psychiatry. And that's a really important thing, because if we don't raise a profile of psychiatry, then no one listens to us, and if no one listens to us, then our patients can't get advocated for, because we're not sitting in the room, and we're not sitting in the room where they're giving out the money and things like that. To present this award, I'm going to welcome to the stage Subodh Dave, our Dean. So in this category, in this category, the judges were looking for a society that's embodied the themes of Choose Psychiatry, and the society that's shown really effective leadership and teamwork and provided an excited and varying programme of activities. And this year, there was only one nomination that stood out as meeting the criteria for all the criteria for this award. So, it's a vote.
So, thank you, Larry. Delighted to be presenting this first award, which is the Psychiatric Society award. And I think it says it really sets a very high bar. It's a bar set for student bodies that promote psychiatry, not just to help students choose psychiatry, but also those who might not choose psychiatry, so to promote awareness of understanding of mental health and psychiatry particularly. And this year, the winner that has actually crossed that bar, a very high bar, is King's College London Psychiatric Society.
So last year, King's College London PsychSoc organised the 10th anniversary of the National Student Psychiatry Conference, bringing over 100 students from across the UK and 45 speakers to the RCPsych headquarters in London. I had to say it was at the weekend, so it was no mean feat getting students out on a Saturday and a Sunday. Anyway, and they explored both recent developments and potential futures within psychiatry. The judges said, the winner of this award has had a very successful 12 months with a varied and packed programme of events. The committee running this PsychSoc deserve recognition and acknowledgement for the fantastic job that they've done hosting what proved to be a very successful, informative and educational National Student Psychiatry Conference. It's fair to say that this particular PsychSoc is flourishing, it goes from strength to strength. But importantly, it also wants to support neighbouring medical schools, PsychSocs, to help them develop too. Well done.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Ali. I was one of the co-presidents last year. This is magic. Thank you to the judging panel. There's a few people I need to thank, who can't be here today. Valerie Sy, who I'm ensured is watching this at home. So thanks, Valerie, for all your support over the last year. To Natasha Binney, Tash, who you may know now as a massive voice in doctors' mental health, and she's an F1 at the moment doing really fantastic stuff. She led our outreach project where we go into schools and we teach aspiring medics about psychiatry in particular. To Bea Winkler and Jada DeMarchi-Taylor, who are the co-presidents this year and were essential in making last year happen. And then we are really privileged at King's to have the support of people like Charlotte Wilson-Jones and all of the MedEd fellows at SLAM and at King's who allow us to allow the work that we do to happen. It felt like a really magic year. The conference sort of came home to King's after starting it off 10 years ago, and to be rewarded like this is proper special, so thank you.
Our next award is for Foundation Doctor of the Year. And to present the award, I'm pleased to welcome our Chief Executive, Paul Rees. So in this category, the judges were looking for a foundation doctor who's got an interest in psychiatry, obviously, and has demonstrated an exceptional level of performance as an innovator, scholar, researcher, clinician, or educator.
Thank you very much, Lade. I love these awards. It's great to be here and great to see you all here because these are like the Oscars of psychiatry. And the really exciting thing about the Foundation Doctor of the Year is that any three of the nominated candidates could end up going on to be a future president of this college. So the three people shortlisted are Dr. Jessica Speller, Dr. Millie Walker, and Dr. John Headley Ward. And the winner is, nervous moments. The winner is Dr. Jessica Speller.
So Dr. Speller graduated in 2021. Whilst studying, she developed a serious illness and required frequent hospital admissions. And this ignited her interest in the interplay between physical and mental health. And it's led to her work supporting and advocating for colleagues and patients with complex health problems. She's aiming to train as a GP. What? She's aiming to train as a GP with a special interest in psychiatry and education. The judges said the Foundation Doctor of the Year award was a very difficult decision to make this year because of the high standard of entries. We finally made a unanimous decision based on the breadth of this individual's achievements and the personal challenges that they've overcome. Moreover, there was a real sense of warmth and humanity in the feedback about this individual, and we felt that Dr. Jessica Speller demonstrated many of the college's values, not just excellence and learning, but also courage, innovation, and collaboration in her daily life. We'd also, of course, like to congratulate all the trainees, Dr. Speller, Dr. Walker, and Dr. Ward, and we really do look forward to working with them as our colleagues in the future. There's still time. Jessica? Do you want to say something?
Thank you so much. I guess I feel like a little bit of a traitor now. Yeah, thank you. This really means so much. Just, I suppose, want to thank, my family and my friends who supported me through sort of all the difficult times that I had at medical school and since I've started training. My colleagues that I work with in Leicester, both for sort of, teaching me and, gaining me so much experience that's hopefully potentially led to this. And also, just for being brilliant to work with. And particularly my supervisor, Dr. Abbas, who I think I now owe a bottle of whiskey to, apparently. And well done again, to everyone else who has been nominated and received an award today. Like, it's amazing to see all of the amazing work that everyone's been doing.
Thank you. The next award is for Core Psychiatric Trainee of the Year. And I'd like to welcome Sheena Foster, who's a carer representative on our College Council, to present the award. So here, the judges were looking for exceptional achievement in clinical performance and practice, or well above that expected at this grade.
I'm really happy to do this, but I must confess that I didn't know what a core psychiatric trainee was. So I had to look it up, and in that process I actually began to understand the amount of work you all do in training to be a psychiatrist. So I'm quite overwhelmed in actually presenting this award because you've already done so much, and to have the time to be nominated for this award, well done. And the winner is, I'm not going to do a dramatic pause, the winner is Dr. Hamilton Moran.
So Dr. Hamilton Moran is a core trainee at SLAM, NHS Foundation Trust, and it's not fixed. He's president, I work at SLAM, by the way. Anyway, he's president of the SLAM Oxley's Junior Doctor Committee, and he's co-president of PEEP, the mentoring scheme. He's an academic clinical fellow at KCL and the Institute of Psychiatry, Psychology and Neuroscience, and he undertakes neuropsychiatry research. That means he's very clever. Hamilton's a core lead and trustee for Gaming the Mind, and that's a charity focused on mental health and games. And he co-hosts, and probably does lots of video gaming, co-hosts the RCPsych International podcast. So the judges said that Dr. Moran performs all core duties at an extraordinary level and has demonstrated consistent mastery in all aspects of in all aspects of duties and responsibilities. He's an inspiration to us all and has pushed psychiatry to greater heights with motivation, dedication, commitment, and optimism. And he's been commended for exemplary clinical knowledge and skills. He's a team worker, participating in quality improvement projects. He's well liked by his colleagues, and overall a credit to the profession.
I just want to say I really wasn't expecting this, so thank you so much to the panel. This is an incredible honour. I want to thank Charlotte Wilson-Jones and everyone involved in the Psychiatry Early Experience programme at King's for opening my eyes to all the possibilities of psychiatry 10 years ago. I want to thank Phylam, Donald, Sachin, and everyone else at Gaming the Mind for their friendship and support over the years. And I want to thank everyone in the Neuropsych COVID research team, Jonathan Rogers, Tim Nicholson, Tom Pollock, for their mentorship and kindness as well. And last but not least, I want to thank my wife Yasmin and the rest of my family for putting up with my nonsense and my gaming over the years. Thank you very much.
So our next award is for Higher Psychiatric Trainee of the Year, and I'd like to welcome back Dr. John Russell. We do Bogos here, you know, buy one, get one free. He only has to come down once.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be presenting this trophy. Obviously, central to developing the new curricula was the support, advice, and enthusiasm of both core and higher, or the trainee representatives for both core and higher trainees. This recognises the excellence and calibre of higher psychiatry trainees who, many of whom often go above and beyond what is expected. And the three nominees should feel very proud to have been shortlisted for this highly competitive and prestigious award. So, the Higher Trainee of the Year is...
Oh, we've got three. Haven't we got three? I think we've got nominees.
Oh, do you want nominees?
Yeah.
Sorry, don't have on the board. Many apologies.
We need the drum roll.
Oh, sorry. Right, so the three nominees are Dr. Benjamin Perry, Dr. Jonathan Rogers, and Dr. Lauren Waterman. And the winner is Dr. Jonathan Rogers.
So Dr. Rogers is a Wellcome Trust Clinical Research Training Fellow at UCL, and he's a specialty registrar in general adult and old age psychiatry at the South London and Wolsey NHS Foundation Trust. He's recently completed a PhD on the epidemiology and neuropsychiatry of catatonia. And actually, I've read these catatonia guidelines. They're excellent. And he's lead author for the British Association of Psychopharmacology recent update and guideline on catatonia. The judges said that this year, as ever, the standard of entries for the Higher Trainee Award was incredibly high, and it makes us feel that the future of psychiatry is in safe hands. The judges felt that Dr. Rogers' nomination was exceptional. It says a lot that his work delivering teaching, supervising master students, leading research and publishing papers could be considered in the background. But the real highlight of his application was the development of the BAP catatonia guidelines, and it wasn't popular, and I know that Jonathan did enormous amounts of work on this. The scope and scale of this one piece of work showed us a level of skill that was across the domains of all a professional, clinician, leader, educator, and researcher, and that made Jonathan really stand out from everybody else. Well done.
Well, thank you so much. Since I've been a trainee, as I am reminded by colleagues and my wife, since approximately forever, I guess the odds were eventually in my favour of winning the award. But I'm very grateful to the college and to those who've helped me an awful lot along the way, in no particular order: God, Rob Harland, Tony David, Glyn Lewis, Michael Zandy, Ruth Cairns, and Rob Howard. Thank you so much.
So So the next two awards recognise the important contribution that patients and carers make to developing and improving mental health services. And frankly, if we didn't listen to them, things wouldn't really be very good at all. So the first award is Patient Contributor of the Year, and I'd like to welcome back Dr. Tim Ojo to present the award. So the judges were looking for patients who've made a positive impact on mental health services by improving the perception of mental health issues, encouraging policy change, and contributing to the training of mental health professionals.
In the face of increasing demand on services and a shrinking pot, it's absolutely important that the patient voice, no matter how challenging, remains central to the way we understand what value we bring. I think the future of psychiatry and mental health provision has to be predicated on how well we meet and exceed the needs of our patients. Therefore, it's a privilege for me to be presenting the award for the Patient Contributor of the Year. The nominees are Lena Adley and Hollis Dixon. And the winner is Lena Adley. Lena can't be here today, but Catherine Britton is here to collect it on her behalf. Thank you.
Can I just tell you something?
You don't have to. Wow, for my personal
So Lena Adley actually has over 3 decades of lived experience of having struggled with mental health, spending over 3 years in hospital. Lena never thought that they'd be well enough to work, but through using their lived experience to help improve the service, they found their voice, and they're now able to work full time. And the judges commended Lena for being an intrinsic improver. They contributed to many areas of the East London NHS Foundation Trust to improve care and experiences for service users and staff through sharing their lived experience, and they've also co-designed and co-delivered quality improvement training within the trust. So would you like to say something about Lena?
Thank you so much. I couldn't say it any better. And if she was here today, she'd be so pleased. I don't think she expected this at all. But for Lena and on behalf of all people participation at ELFT, we're very, very proud of what she does. And of course, she's now a staff member as well. So she talks widely about her contributions and her experience with quality improvement to help her recovery. And she's so inspirational to us all. So thank you very much on behalf of Lena. Thank you.
Our next award is for Carer Contributor of the Year, and this is going to be presented by our Registrar, Trudy Senavaratna. So again, the judges were looking for nominees who've influenced policy, training, and the perception of mental health issues. And there was only one nomination this year that perfectly matched the exacting criteria of this category.
Oh, thank you, Lady. Just a few words, really. It's an absolute privilege to award the winner of this. We had only one nomination, but that's okay because Giselle was incredible in what has been achieved and given in the space for carers. Now, carers are sometimes the hidden and perhaps a forgotten person behind the patients. They are incredibly important and often suffer in silence, don't get the recognition. Their voice is often absolutely not heard. It's really critical that carers' voices are heard in looking after the mental health of all of us. So many, many congratulations. I have real pleasure in giving Giselle Jeffries this award today.
So Giselle is a member of the Hertfordshire Partnership NHS Foundation Trust Carer Council, and she's been the main carer for her son for 20 years. Her son has paranoid schizophrenia, and he was the first to be referred to the Enhanced Rehabilitation Outreach Service in 2019, which helped his transition into the community. Giselle has helped this service to develop new pathways and provided insights into the carers' experience so that carers' needs can be recognised and met. The judges said, Giselle has been integral in developing the Enhanced Rehabilitation Outreach Service. She's always been willing to share her experiences to help the team identify gaps in the service provision. She's been an inspiration for the team so that they can strive the extra mile for carers and patients to explore innovative ways to support them along their journeys. She's a worthy winner of the Carer Contributor Award.
Thank you. Thank you all. I'm delighted and honored to receive this award. It means a lot to me, and I accept it on behalf of the 5 million of unpaid carers in the UK. The award shows the importance of our role, and it has been recognized at the highest level. Thank you for that. I have been a carer for over 20 years, and I have been helped by and worked with the EROS service for 5 years. EROS stands for Enhanced Rehabilitation Outreach Service. It is part of HPFT, which is the Hertfordshire Partnership University Foundation Trust. I've been delighted to assist in setting up EROS with carer needs at the heart of the service, using the benefit of my own personal experience. Carers need to be identified and helped as early as possible. When you first become a carer, you are often frightened, as you are totally unprepared and you just don't know what to expect. EROS has grown in strength, and whereas it used to cover a period of 12 weeks, it now covers a period of 36 months with the help they provide to service users. What I hope is that this initiative will be pushed out nationally. I will do my best to achieve this at a time of growing need. Thank you.
Our next award is for Psychiatric Communicator of the Year, and I'd like to ask Bryony Gordon to come to the stage to present this. So this award is for an individual or group of individuals that have championed understanding of mental health issues through media work, promotional education in schools and the community, or via social media, even Twitter. Is it X, formerly known as Twitter or whatever? Anyway. The judges were looking for someone who has challenged negative perceptions, conveyed mental health information in a creative and accessible way, and raised awareness of psychiatric issues in a positive manner. Bryony.
It's really glorious to be standing here handing out this award. I think working in the media, I'm really aware that there's a sort of perception that because some very famous people have spoken about mental health, that the problem is kind of solved. And as you all know, that's not the case. We need people to be talking about mental illness more than ever. The need for clear communicators about psychiatry and mental health generally has never been higher, and as you alluded to, the pot has never been smaller. Well done to all of these people nominated. The shortlisted nominees are Dr. Praveen Kumar, Dr. Shahid Latif, the Nexus Project, and Dr. Kuram Tanvir Sadiq. And the winner is the Nexus Project.
So I sit on the floor. Come to this. Yeah, that's it. Come in front of this.
What? In front?
If I get useful, so I'll get everyone right. That's
Okay,
it.
right.
Now when you come around, I'm going to be a movie thing. That's it. That's it. Nice and tall. That's lovely. Right. Okay. That's brilliant. And sort of help people hold that very heavy. This is the spot. Right, that's lovely. Great. That's it. Look at this way. Looking good. And again. Won't come in closer. Where's that smile? It's disappeared. Last one, honest. Can I move you out a tiny bit? Yeah, get out of it. That's it. Thank you.
Wait. Hold on. So Nexus is a film drama about the impact of COVID-19 on young people's mental health. And the team is a cross-sector partnership across West London NHS Trust, Imperial College London, and Inner Eye Productions, and young people with lived experience. As you can see, they've got great teamwork. They've worked in partnership across all the project stages, sharing power and decisions throughout. And the judges said this year's submissions were of a particularly high quality, and they demonstrated that psychiatrists and their associates are using the full range of media to bring mental health issues to the attention of the general public. The winning nomination, the Nexus Film Project, is a collaboration between an NHS trust, an academic centre, a film production company, and crucially, writers, actors and producers who include young people with lived experiences of mental illness, poverty and deprivation, and that's been amplified by the pandemic. It captures their experiences and also the bonds between friends and how they endured despite their difficulties. The film has been shown widely and it's critically acclaimed. It's an impressive and inspiring achievement. Well done. Do you want to say something?
We're just all really in awe of the success of this project. We started it during lockdown. We worked together during lockdown. All our meetings were like Zoom. It was just incredible. And working together with the young people who have been absolutely incredible. And I cannot recommend co-production enough. And hopefully this is going to promote this even more. And using different media such as film to actually sort of inform research and get it out there in a much more informative and creative way, rather than just an academic paper, which often doesn't get to the people that really it matters to the most, such as the young people. And I guess I just wanted to particularly thank obviously all of our team have been incredible. Chris, Palumi, Dylan, who couldn't be here, who's amazing, Aaliyah, who couldn't be here, who's amazing, two of the young people, Derek, Tracy, who's been phenomenally supportive, and West London NHS Trust have been amazing, and even the college, who's been fantastic since we went on a road show last year. Was it this year? No, this year during Eating Disorders Week. So, yeah, I didn't expect, none of us expected to win, so this speech is terrible. But anyway, thank you so much.
Okay, so it's definitely worth a train ticket. Anyway, our next award is going to be presented by Dr. Lily Reid. And Lily is going to present the award for the Psychiatric Educator of the Year. So this award recognises excellence in the training of trainee psychiatrists, medical undergraduates, or medical professionals.
Thank you so much. I can't think of anything more important than for the future of psychiatry than educators. They bring into our profession young, bright people, like some of the winners here, even if they come as a GP with special interest, saying nothing. And there's some excellent educators amongst lots of you and in our profession. The people who make the shortlist every year, they are exceptional ×3. And this award generally has a very high standard. So the nominees, the shortlisted nominees this year have gone over and above for their trainees, for their colleagues and other mental health professionals. And they are Dr. Muhammad Gul, Dr. Christopher Kowalski, and Dr. Aditya Naner Sharma. And the Oscar for the best educator, psychiatric educator of the year, goes to Dr. Sharma.
Dr. Sharma is a clinical senior lecturer and honorary consultant in child and adolescent psychiatry at Newcastle University and CNTW NHS Foundation Trust. And he's a clinical lead for the National Specialist Adolescent Mood Disorders Service, which is based in Newcastle. And he provides tertiary input for young people living with hard-to-manage mood disorders. He's developed and coordinated the academic programme for the Northern Scheme in Child Psychiatry since 2010, and he's co-organiser of the child module of the British Association of Psychopharmacology clinical certificate course, and he's been doing that since 2015. And in addition, he delivers training on mood disorders internationally to health professionals. And the judges said, "It was our pleasure to award Educator of the Year to Dr. Sharma. They were impressed by the commitment that Dr. Sharma has to create an environment and culture to educate others in the area of psychiatry that he's clearly passionate about. And the drive was demonstrated by his involvement in mentorship, teaching programs, and research. And not only was Dr. Sharma committed to supporting doctors in training within his region, he also has a role in stimulating research in psychiatry internationally." And the panel were in no doubt that his commitment to learning has translated to better patient care for so many people using services not only in the UK, but beyond.
Thank you. A bit like Nexus Project, I feel like a fraud standing here. And when my trainees, the higher trainees wanted to nominate me, I've been running the academic program now, as you heard, for many, many years, and I've actually just stepped down. I thought it was their way of trying to entice me to continue. Perhaps I should. I want to thank a few people along this journey. There are some of my trainers who are very, very special. Professor Nicole Ferrier, who was one of my PhD supervisors, my mentor, Professor Anne Lakuta, who insisted that as a clinical academic, I must learn research and also how to deliver training. Professor Chris Hollis, who left the BAP child module in Sam Cortese in my hands. I'm sure I'm going to forget loads and loads of people. Certainly within the family, two very special ladies, my mother-in-law and my mother, who are both teachers and have had a profound impact on me. My lovely wife and my two boys, one of whom is here with me as my +1, who I think over the years, as we all do, I've neglected them and haven't been part of their journey as much as I should have, could have. I know that the trapdoor is going to open very soon. I just wanted to really reiterate the fact that we work incredibly hard as psychiatrists, and we must continue to fight the corner for patients and carers and families. And ultimately, I just again want to thank the higher trainees of the Northern Scheme. Thank you for nominating me. I do feel like I've let you all down a bit by quitting the academic program, but hopefully bigger and better things. Lastly, to my fellow nominees, thank you. I'll just say one quote that's always had an impact on me, which is, "A man's reach must exceed his grasp," or "What's a heaven for?" So thank you.
Our next award is the Specialty Doctor or Associate Specialist of the Year. And it recognises the contribution made to mental health services by specialty doctors and associate specialists. And it's going to be presented by Dr. Alex George. So in this category, the judges are looking for a specialty doctor or associate specialist doctor who's demonstrated an exceptional level of performance in clinical work, education, leadership and management, research and innovation, as well as working towards establishing parity of esteem between mental and physical health.
Thank you. Well, thank you for asking me to present this award. I think Dr. Reid said brilliantly how important the role it is that SES doctors play, and if you don't mind me, I'll be off soon, I promise. If you don't mind me mentioning A&E for a moment, I know from my time, I mean, what would we do without SES doctors, their leadership, their skill, their advice, their training? Well, we couldn't do it without them, so I'm certain that contribution is huge across mental health, so thank you to all of you. So the nominees are Dr. Ishtiaq Ahmad, Dr. Ayamipo Jeremiah Amiola, Dr. Nick Barnes, and Dr. Shivani Shalam. So. It's an honour to say that the specialty doctor or associate specialist of the year is Dr. Ishtiaq Ahmad.
That's it. Great. Thank you. Last one. Thank you.
So Dr. Ahmed's been functioning in a senior capacity as an associate specialist in old age psychiatry for the past 27 years. He's been a Birmingham and Solihull Mental Health NHS Foundation Trust SAS clinical tutor for the past 13 years, and in the past 12 months he's continued to build the SAS academic programme. He's the founder of a 4-year CSER training programme for aspiring SAS doctors to access the GMC Specialist Register. And the judging panel said that Dr. Ahmed is an exceptional clinician, educator, leader, and a role model for many colleagues. He's been a tireless patient advocate for mental health patients, including for their physical health outcomes. And he's a much-loved SAS tutor, supporting the career development of his colleagues. He's introduced a buddy system for early career SAS psychiatrists, and he improves service development and research opportunities for all.
Thank you so much. I did not expect this at all. I mean, it's very, very good to be recognized for the hard work, which, I mean, it's a long journey, right, from the very beginning. I like 26 years in Birmingham, and I thank everyone, my colleagues, my family, my wife, to have supported me in this journey. I have developed the academic program, which is one of a kind in the West Midlands. And thank you very much for nominating me, Dr. Arya. And thank you. I couldn't have done anything without the support from higher management. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so now this is the big one. I've got butterflies, actually. Don't know what the nominees feel. But anyway, this is the award for Psychiatrist of the Year. And to present this, we've actually got the top doctor in the country with us. Professor, I'm not kidding, he is the top doctor in the country. He's Professor Sir Steve Powis. So just for clarification, who don't know, Steve is the National Medical Director for NHS England. That means he's the doctor in charge of all of us.
Yes, and I'm limping a little bit because I last Wednesday I ignored the warning to mind the gap and fell into the gap at Clapham Junction, and my left leg, which went down, is a week later is just recovering. Right.
Don't tell us yet. Don't tell us yet.
Yeah, don't tell us
Okay.
yet. No, don't worry. I
Right,
won't tell you
so
yet.
we've got a.
So it's a real pleasure to be here today. So thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure for 3 reasons. Firstly, because coming to award ceremonies is really one of the best parts of my job. I do get to go to a few. And the reason it's the best part of the job, or one of the best parts of the job, is because it's really important with all the challenges that healthcare faces at the moment in this country, many other countries, especially coming out of the pandemic, that we take time every so often to come together and recognise just how much brilliant work is done by everybody who works in healthcare, and to showcase that for each other. And certainly today, there is just so much excellence on show for everybody to witness and to celebrate. So thank you for everybody, and thank you for all the hard work you have done. And of course, it's particularly important that we get the opportunity to celebrate those that are involved, because it really is important that we recognise excellence. And my goodness, looking through the list of nominees today and the winners, there has just been a huge amount of excellence, as I said, on show. Secondly, it's really important for me because in the nearly 6 years I've been at NHS England, we have ensured, and we continue trying to ensure, that mental health and mental well-being is really at the top of our list of priorities in terms of things that we need to support, we need to put extra resource into. And my personal commitment is to continue doing that. particularly, as I say, we come out of the pandemic and we know that there is increasing demand for the services that you provide. And so, thirdly, I just want to take the opportunity to thank the college, because I think it wouldn't be right if I didn't stand here and say thank you to all the work that that the college presidents, and everybody involved in this college does for NHS services in mental health, but also in wider healthcare services. So I feel incredibly supported by the college, and particularly the president. So Adrian, one of my closest colleagues during the pandemic, is sitting over there, and Lade, who's taken over recently, has taken over, grabbed the baton, and it hasn't been dropped, believe me. It's just gone on as it was before, and Lade's already giving me a huge amount of support. And what they do is, with the other college presidents, is they come together, and I do think of you as part of my wider team, to advise, to support, and actually to tell us when we get it wrong. And believe me, Adrian, Lade and the other presidents are not backward at coming forward and saying where we need to do better, or where we could improve. And that is a really valuable part of our relationship. So that brings me to the award, and it is a real honour to be able to give the award for the Psychiatrist of the Year for 2023.
Nominees.
So without further ado,
Nominees.
the nominees
on the
are... So they're on mine.
On the front of the envelope.
Oh, they're on my envelope, yeah. They were on my programme, but I gave them a programme away. So Dr. Suhana Ahmed. Dr. Fabida Arya. And Professor Ulrike Schmidt. I did open the envelope a bit early. I hope nobody saw it, Lade. I didn't see it, but let me have a look and see who it is. So, the winner is Dr. Fabida Arya.
So for this award, the judges were looking for a psychiatrist who had lived the college's values, made a positive impact on patients and carers' well-being, and raised a positive image of psychiatry and worked towards achieving parity of esteem between mental and physical health. Dr. Fabida Arya is an inspiring role model with endless energy who takes time to listen and speaks passionately about mental health and equality. She's exceptional in all her roles as a consultant psychiatrist, and she's a medical director at the Birmingham and Solihull Mental Health Foundation Trust. She's a specialist advisor for the MTI scheme, that's for international medical graduates, and she's chair of the Transcultural Psychiatry Special Interest Group at the RCPsych, and she's also executive member of other charities. The judges said, Dr. Arya is an outstanding psychiatrist, clinician, leader, and manager. She's overcome huge challenges to rise to the top of her profession. She's respected, admired, and trusted by patients and colleagues, and her leadership has led to huge improvements in patient care. She's a very quietly spoken, quiet person who just gets things done. She doesn't make a big fuss, and I think it's wonderful that she's been recognised for her work. She's the deserving winner of the Psychiatrist of the Year award.
Thank you, everyone. It's very emotional. I was already emotional after Ishtiaq's win because it's very close to my heart. And behind this award, there's so many people that will even fill 10 rooms like this. So I want to take it on behalf of all of them. My parents are watching from a very remote village in India, my siblings from around the world. My children will see it later. I do want to thank all of them for their support. And one of the things I've learned is that the biggest job for me as a doctor, a psychiatrist, a clinician, is to be the patient's voice, to be the clinician's voice. So just in case I might win, I asked a patient and carer, what would you like me to say? So the patient said, please treat us with respect and dignity. That will help our recovery. And the carer said, please treat patients and carers as equals. So I think that's a message that I want to give. And as Lade said, it's not been an easy ride to be where I have reached, but there's not always a way. And when people tell you, oh, you can't do that, and there is no way, you just have to make your own way, and you can. So I want anybody who is doubting themselves anywhere in the world, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have imagined I'm going to be standing here today. I want you to believe in that person, what you want to do, what you want to achieve. A lot of the people who've inspired me are sitting in this room. Thank you. And also, I've been moved and humbled by so many of you. But a lot of the people I think about are the patients I've lost who were very young, and I think there is a lot more for us to do. So I can go on, but I will stop there. Thank you.
Okay, so that's all our individual awards. And the next set of awards, it's 7 of them, set of 7 categories, are for the multidisciplinary teams working in mental health. And it recognises the excellent work that you've all done. When each winner's announced, could the whole team come to the stage to receive the award? And you know that Justin's going to force you to have a photo taken. Okay. So in the next 7 categories, the judges were looking for teams that demonstrate service development, redesign, or quality improvement with excellent leadership, teamwork, and, very importantly, effective use of resources. I added that bit because the big boss is here. We've got to be good with the money. We start with Psychiatric Team of the Year, and that's for children and adolescents. And this award is going to be presented by Professor Pratibha Chitsabesan. So, Pratibha is our National Clinical Director for Children and Young People's Mental Health at NHS England.
Thanks, Lade. I should say my Mind the Gap story, Steve, is that I've lost a shoe on more than one occasion in that gap. Has anyone else done that?
Yes.
Yeah, thankfully it's not just me. So I'm really delighted to announce the winner for this particular award. Steve's talked about the commitment NHS England has to mental health and increasingly to children's mental health, which is really positive. And the award, I think, is a fantastic recognition of the important and fantastic work of our children's mental health services. We know what a challenging time it's been for so many children and young people, and services can and do make a meaningful difference in the lives of young people at such a critical stage in their development. I think all of us now recognise that most mental health disorders start in childhood and early adulthood. So I want to congratulate all the teams that were shortlisted for this particular award for demonstrating a commitment to co-production and partnership working as well as innovation. So the shortlisted nominees are Autism and Intellectual Disability Intensive Intervention Team at South London and Maudsley NHS Foundation Trust, Dud Hope Young People's Unit, NHS Tayside, and Lincoln Hub Core Community CAMS Team. So that's Lincolnshire Partnership NHS Foundation Trust. Like the Oscars, so the winner is Lincoln Hub Core Community CAMS Team.
You around. So come to here, I'm going to push you around first. So if you're there, that's it. I'm going to have you next. Yeah? Yeah, you're going there. You're going to go here. I'm sort of going height orientation. Here you go, that's it. No room for you to get out. And again, we have you maybe just all sort of leaning over, sort of grabbing this very heavy award. That's it. That's lovely. Great. Here you go. That's lovely. Super. either, didn't he? That's great. Last one. Thank you very much.
So, the Lincoln Hub Community Core CAMS team is a multidisciplinary team offering a range of therapeutic services to young people in a catchment area that's centred around the city of Lincoln. And since January 2022, they've undertaken a project to transform the service using a collaborative, democratic and bottom-up developmental approach, which empowers the team members and enables the delivery of better outcomes. And the judges were really impressed with their quality improvement approach. And they said that the team used their, QI to great effect to improve team culture and functioning, and there were clear improvements in the quality of the service, the morale and the competence of the team members, and there was better workforce retention. And this in the context of increased referrals to the team, real challenges, as we know, in recruitment and retaining clinicians. And they said that the voice and the expertise of young people and their parents and carers has been central to the service's development and delivery. So if you want to say something.
Thank you so much. We're very pleasantly surprised to be here. I'm actually have written the words because I know that I would lose my words coming on stage. So it's really a cause for absolute pleasure and honor for my colleagues and I to be here today to represent our team, a lot of whom would be following the live stream and to be awarded the Psychiatric Team of the Year for CAMS. What adds to our delight is that we have a fixed, unshakable belief that the competition was fierce. LPFT CAMS teams were finalists before, but what made the day for us is that we have won this time. It's fabulous. Thank you very much.
So our next team award is for Psychiatric Team of the Year for Working Age Adults. And this is going to be presented by Marcia McAdam. As before, the judges were looking for an exceptional team. And this time, one that improves services for adults aged about 18 to 65.
A few years ago, I presented at one of the college's conferences, and I made a joke about when psychiatrists used to know I was coming, they used to run, and no one laughed at all. And so I remember, it was like, oh my God, now I've been on the stage twice. Today it's like, what? Anyway, so I'm someone who is still actively using secondary mental health services, and I've seen a lot over the years with psychiatrists. I think just before COVID, I went to see a new psychiatrist, and I really liked her, and she was supposed to be staying there, but her name wasn't even on the door. She didn't even have a home. Over the last few years, you have worked so exceptionally. I don't understand how you would have got through it, because you didn't just see one nightmare that I was, you will have seen 10 or that in a day. But I believe that you were supported by your colleagues and I think teams are so important, and I encourage you, because the nightmare just seems to be going on and on, doesn't it really, is support your colleagues, support your friends in that, because you may not know what they're going through. So for the Psychiatric Team of the Year for Working Age Adults, the shortlist nominees are Enhanced Rehabilitation Outreach Services, Hertfordshire Partnership University Foundation Trust, Leeds Perinatal Mental Health Services, Leeds York Partnership and NHS Foundation Trust. Mental Health Intensive Support Team, Cheshire and Wirral Partnership, NHS Foundation Trust. Cambridgeshire NHS Staff Mental Health Service, Cambridge and Peterborough. Why do I always get the really long ones? Oh. Cambridgeshire and Peterborough NHS Foundation Trust. And the winner is Mental Health Intensive Support Team, Cheshire and Wirral Partnership.
Me again, I'm going to get you standing there. That's it. It's good. I'm going to have you stay there. That's good. That's lovely. And you two change places. That's it. In fact, I've got two. I'm going to have you there. Okay. That's it. That's great. Oh, lovely. You come and block him out. That's it. And maybe if you also hold back as well. That's it. That's brilliant. Here you go. That's lovely. Yeah, nice smile. That's good. That's great. And again. Come forward a tiny bit, just you. That's it. A bit more. A bit more. That's it. Lovely. Last one, honest. Thank you.
Okay. So the Mental Health Intensive Support Team is a community rehabilitation service in the Cheshire and Wirral Partnership NHS Foundation Trust. And it's a diagnostically inclusive service that supports the rehabilitation of individuals with complex presentations. It's clinically led, person-centred, it's values-driven, and it's a service that's co-produced and co-designed with input from a wide range of stakeholders, including experts by experience. And the judges were impressed by the team's commitment to improving outcomes for patients and their approach to collaboration. The college has said that out-of-area placements have a devastating impact on patients and families. They really do, actually, and they're very expensive. This winning team managed to reduce their out-of-area placements of patients whilst also helping a number of people back into work or education. Over to you.
Thank you. Didn't really want to prepare anything to thought I'll jinx what winning the award, so I'll be really short. So I suppose firstly I'd like to accept this award on behalf of the patients that we work with. We work with a group of patients who are often excluded from national policy, but excluded from the communities that they grew up in, and are often locked up for decades in hospitals. So it's really on their behalf that I would like to accept this award. And also, just in terms of the collaboration, we've talked a lot about collaboration, and this was the model of this clinical model was in collaboration with John Moores University, and Pooja and a team really helped us define what good would look like. And it's a really good example, and hopefully it can replicate in other places about how when research works together with clinicians, how actually clinical models help improve the patient care and also patient experience. Thank you.
Okay, so now it's Psychiatric Team of the Year, Older Age Adults, and our Treasurer, Professor John Crichton, is going to present the award. So the judges were looking for quality teamwork to improve psychiatric services and care for older age adults, and there was only one team this year that met the high standards of this award.
The late, great Professor Tom Ayres in the Healthcare of the Elderly Department at Nottingham University spoke about detail as being important in the mental health of older age adults. And he didn't mean simply the clinical details that we have to get right. He meant the detail that was important to the patient in front of you. What was the thing that they really wanted to get sorted out? Now, that's something that I've taken with me throughout my career, and it's relevant to all parts of psychiatry, not just old age psychiatry, and I think important to all parts of medicine as well. And I'm sure it's an attribute that is embraced by our worthy winner today. Only one team came up to the exacting standards of this award, and I'm delighted to announce that the winner of Psychiatric Team of the Year, Older Age Adults, is Ashford and St Peter's Hospital's Psychiatric Liaison Service.
Fantastic. Oh, that's great stuff. That's good. That's lovely. A couple more. It's there. Lovely. Two more and I'll let you go. I lied. Thank you.
Okay, the Ashford and St Peter's, can give you a clap. Ashford and St Peter's Hospital Psychiatric Liaison Service is a multidisciplinary team consisting of nurses, doctors and psychologists, as well as trainees in nursing and psychiatry. And the team provides mental health support to adults over 18 with a sub-team supporting older people, and that works closely with other services, older adult services and physical health care at St Peter's Hospital. And the judges said, the Older Adults People's Liaison Service has demonstrated as a multidisciplinary team that they provided efficient and effective services to older adults in an acute hospital. And their work has significantly grown, and it's commendable that they have collaborated both internally and externally to be this exemplar service. And those of you who work in liaison, who work in A&E, will know that all too often older people will come into A&E and they just, it's discovered that they've got lots and lots and lots of problems. And so often, the mental health care that they require hasn't been given to them. So this is one of the reasons why this team won this award. Joyce, you want to say something?
Thank you, Tim. We got this. Okay, I would like to thank Dr. Keshav Kapil for believing in us and nominating us. And thank you again to the Psych Liaison team at Ashford and St. Peter's Hospital. We are doing a fantastic job. Thank you to the college for the award, and a big hello to Abby, who couldn't be here. She's in Turkey. Thank you.
So our next award is Psychiatric Team of the Year for Digital Mental Health. And this will be presented by Dr. Melanie Isles, who's a National Chief Clinical Information Officer at NHS England. So for this award, the judges were looking for a team that demonstrated the use of digital technologies to improve service and patient care.
Thank you. It's an absolute privilege and honour to be here this afternoon to present this award. I've been absolutely wowed and inspired by all of you in this room, so thank you very much. I'm really pleased and chuffed to be celebrating the digital good stuff this afternoon. Increasingly, digital data and technology are key enablers in transformational change. That value for money and how we're going to do things differently and give hope to the NHS, it's really so important. But what's really key behind all of that is the team and that change management piece. So really pleased to be delivering this award. So we have three contesters. So the first is Brain in Hand team, which is Cornwall Partnership NHS Foundation Trust. Second, we've got Pause Parenting App team, Solihull and Birmingham NHS Mental Health Trust and Warwick Medical School. And thirdly, we've got Terms, Technology Enabled Care in Schools, and you're in Bevan University Health Board. Sound absolutely amazing projects, which I'd love to know far more about. But the Psychiatric Team of the Year Digital Mental Health Award winner is Brain in Hand team.
Running up. So exciting.
So I've got to boss you around first.
Yeah, boss me around
You're
first.
going there. That's it. I'm going to have you here. You're coming here. That's it. You know we all. That's it. That's it. Just here. Just here. That's it. That's lovely. That's great. Let's have you there as well. Just come stop. And you, where you go? In fact, yeah, you're quite right. Go there. I'm going to move you there. yourselves. There you go. That's lovely like that. Sorry, to the back. Just come back. That's it. That's lovely. Here you go. That's good. And again. That's lovely. Last one, honest. Good, thank you.
So the Brain in Hand research team, I'll tell them about you first, carried out a multi-site mixed methods cohort study of the Brain in Hand digital self-support system. And what they found is that over 12 weeks, Brain in Hand significantly improved self-reported anxiety levels, functioning, and self-injurious behaviours. And that was amongst a study population of adults with autism as well as adults with suspected autism. The judges said, this group were chosen as the winner as they have conducted critical research on a digital system designed to support autistic people to manage their anxiety and improve their quality of life as well as improve their social functioning. As part of the development of this project, autistic people were involved in the co-design of the study as valued partners. And the outcomes of the research were positive, so much so that NICE approval was granted. And it makes it the first such tool to receive formal recommendation. And that supported the expansion from a small pilot with less than 100 participants to use in dozens of trusts with a potential benefit to thousands of people. Crucial work like this, done within the NHS in partnership with academia and industry, allows digital innovations to start to deliver at pace and scale. And that's what justifies this team getting in the inaugural award for Digital Team of the Year. Well done.
So I'm a bit of a fraud because I'm from the private sector. It's these wonderful people from the research team who are getting this award. But what we are trying to do at Brain in Hand is develop something for all those people who are on your waiting list or who are never going to get through the front door to get services, because I know how stretched you are. And for us, it was very important to have independent verification that what we do makes a difference. So the person who should be getting recognition is Professor Rohit Shankar, who's not here today. I hope he's watching, because he was willing to take us on and to evaluate what we did. And he garnered these wonderful people to do a research project. He called in lots of favours across the country to make it a national study. I also want to recognise Ian Summers, who was one of the researchers on the team, who would not want to come to a big event like this, but I hope he's watching as well. So it's a collective effort, and it's a shout out for digital, because we're not going to be able to make the difference for autistic people and people with mental health difficulties if we don't embrace digital, because it's a way that we can reach far more people and make more of an impact. Thank you for these lovely people for doing what they do.
So our next award is Psychiatric Team of the Year for Intellectual Disability. And this is going to be presented by Professor Alka Ahuja. So for this award, the judges were looking for exceptional and innovation, with the focus being on intellectual disability.
We've heard the word challenging all afternoon, and I think for me, one team that really works through the most challenging and difficult situations and still maintains their dignity and resilience is intellectual disability. I was torn between child psychiatry and intellectual disability as a trainee, so I think I've got a conflict of interest.
I think you'll find it's forensic, actually, Alka.
The shortlisted nominees are Signet Hospital, Colchester, Learning Disability ASD Services, Signet Hospital, Colchester. The Norfolk Forensic Community Learning Disability Service, Hertfordshire, Penn. And Tower Hamlets Community Learning Disability Team, East London, NHS Foundation. And the winner is Norfolk Forensic Community Learning Disability.
Okay. So I'll put you here. We'll give it to in a minute. We'll work it out. Don't you worry, I've got my eye on that. You're definitely in the back, sir. Let's put you here. Come sliding forward. Sorry about this. We've got a manhandle everyone. That's it, come forward. That's it. I don't know what to do with him yet. You're just there. There you go. That's to there. That's a good one. Just here, let's have a look at that. No, don't you worry. Not yet. Can't rush on. Can I have some of this? Yeah. That's it. Right there. Right. Okay. Yeah. Where's the trophy? There you go. That's lovely. Can you guys hold that? That's it. Okay. That's lovely. And you stand there. Fantastic. Right. That's great. Okay. I tell you what. The two of you in the middle. Just you come out that way a little bit. Lady blue. That's it. I can't see the point behind you. There you go. That's great like that. That's looking good. And again. Come to there. See how good that looks. Right, I need a smile from you, otherwise you're out. There you go. That's lovely. And I'm going to get you just to shift out that way. Move that. That's it. I've got someone hiding behind you. The last one. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So the Norfolk Forensic Community Learning Disability Service, a multidisciplinary team, launched in only April 2022. It supports people with intellectual disability who've offended or are at risk of offending. And some of the team's key objectives are to reduce the offending and reoffending rates of people with learning disabilities, reduce the need for admissions to inpatient services, and to increase access to specialist forensic advice for direct care providers and community teams. And the judges said, the Norfolk team excelled in meeting the criteria for this award. The panelists were particularly impressed by the innovative pathway built on a strong evidence-based model that's placed outcome and service evaluation at the heart of the service. The team demonstrated a clear commitment towards partnership, working with all stakeholders, and placed service users, patients, carers, and their families at the very centre so they could help shape the service. You want to say something?
Many, many thanks for those very kind words of introduction there. I mean, on behalf of the whole Norfolk Forensic Community LD team, and my colleagues in the MDT who can be here today and those who can't, I would just like to say a massive thank you very much for the reception of this award. Recognising the role and contribution that psychiatric teams have played in improving services in intellectual disability. It certainly feels like we've been on a very sort of long journey since our launch in April 2022. When we launched, the vision was to address the inequities that people with intellectual disability often face when interacting with both penal systems and the hospital system as well. And they can be disadvantaged both in terms of equity of access to and equity of outcome from treatment. So there was a big focus on co-production with the designing of the team, with service users, experts by experience, their families, key stakeholders, and we highlighted the kind of main problem areas. And to rectify that, the team is offering community intervention that's evidence-based, designed to minimise the need for hospital admission and custodial sentences, and also to try and execute timely and appropriate discharge from hospitals as well. There's key influence of research in the team as well, so we've come up with the WIN document, What I Need, which is a specific service specification document as well. So yeah, after our kind of first year and a bit going, we've kind of seen that the interventions we've implemented have been really quite successful in improving service user outcome and experience, and helping to improve confidence from hospital admission, primary treating teams, and community discharges as well. And they're just some of the many benefits we've seen. In terms of thanks, there's so many people that I won't be able to get around to thanking. I suppose particular thanks goes not just to my colleagues in the MDT, but also to Professor Reggie Alexander as well for all the kind support that he's offered to all of us throughout our first sort of 18 months of operation. And everyone else across HPFT and Norfolk who's made this a possibility as well. So thank you once again for this wonderful award. The team are delighted with the success so far, and we're keen to build on that in the future to help transform more lives across Norfolk. Thank you very much.
So our next award is for Psychiatric Team of the Year Quality Improvement, and it's going to be presented by Nathan Randalls, who's a patient representative on our college council. And Nathan is a medical student and I'm sure he's going to do psychiatry.
Thank you, President. And yes, I will be.
Right answer.
So this one's quite personal to me, actually. Immediately following my commencement of time as a patient, I was able to get involved with the QI project at my local trust. And it really set the tone for me as to how teams should be conducting themselves, especially those who are willing to push the envelope and move forward in directions that may not necessarily be accessible to all those at the time. And so, without further ado, I'm going to name the nominations. So, for the Psychiatric Team of the Year in regards to quality improvements, the nominees are Community Transformation Physical Health Team at Birmingham and Solihull Mental Health Foundation Trust. Children and Young People Community Eating Disorder Service at East London NHS Foundation Trust. Reducing Restrictive Practice QI Collaborative Team at Birmingham and Solihull Mental Health Foundation Trust. Wakefield CAMS REACH Team in South West Yorkshire Foundation Trust. And the winner is the Psychiatric Team of the Year for Quality Improvement goes to Children and Young People Community Eating Disorder, East London NHS.
That's great. That's lovely. Can I have these around with you? That's lovely. Can I have you just here? Move you slightly out. Go up to there. Shift that a little bit more. That's it. Beautifully shifted. You're going to go where you go. You lost you. That's great. Lovely. Here you go. Right. Can we have sort of, or you can hold that. That's sort of, let's have two of you, so it's a little more. That's it. I'm going to ask you, sir, at the back, shift over this way now. That's it, that's great. That's lovely. And don't you squeeze up too much, we'll leave the lady behind. That's lovely like that. Do me a favour, yeah, that's it. Just cut. No, you stay where you are. You just go that way a little bit. That's it. That's lovely. Brilliant, that's great. I'm going to ask you, sir, at the back, that way a bit. That's it, lovely. That's it, we'll get him in eventually. That's good. Super. And you're hogging it again, I need you that way. That's it. That's lovely. Here you go. Two more. I'll get this right in a minute. That's lovely. Thank you.
So this team is a community-based specialist eating disorder service working with children and young people and their families in East London. The team comprises passionate, hard-working, young person-focused and collaborative, multidisciplinary colleagues who go above and beyond to serve the local community. They're dynamic and always willing to support service improvements to better meet patients' needs. They've been dedicated in their work on the Improving Capacity and Flow QI project, which has resulted in improved performance and a more dynamic and responsive service. And the judges were impressed with the service's use of quality improvement methods to improve flow through their service in order to reduce wait times to therapy and also to reduce wait times to access. They were also commended for their achievement in reducing the number of young people waiting for community eating disorders in psychiatry. And they managed to reduce the numbers from 73 in September 2022 to 0 in December 2022 who were waiting, which is quite a remarkable achievement.
Thank you so much. It's such an honour to receive this award. I just want to use the platform to big up the team. They're so amazing, they're committed, hardworking, compassionate, dedicated, they go above and beyond, and they really embraced quality improvement as an idea and a framework to effect real significant positive change for the betterment of the young people and the families that we serve. So it's just an honour to work with these amazing guys. And just to say that it's quite a brave thing to do, it's quite courageous to allow ourselves permission to think outside of the box and do something a bit different for the betterment of our families and young people that we look after. So thank you so much for the award, and we're going to be celebrating this, I'm sure. And well done, team. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Okay, so this is now our final team award for 2023. And this is the award for Psychiatric Team of the Year, Outstanding Commitment to Sustainability and Green Care. And it was created in partnership with the Centre for Sustainable Healthcare to recognise that the work that demonstrates an understanding of the connection between healthcare and the environment. And the reality is that if we deliver efficient and effective mental health services, they also happen to be more sustainable for the environment. It's so much better for our planet, and that's why this award is so important. I'd like to welcome Nikki Philpott, who's Deputy Director at Greener NHS, to present the award.
Everyone, we need to keep this energy up because climate change is so important. So this is the kind of 4th or 5th year that the college have put together an award about sustainability and climate change and mental health care. And I just wanted to, first of all, thank the college for their enormous leadership in this area, from their policies, from their special interest groups. And only next week, I'll be standing on this very platform, launching a report with the college about mental health care and sustainability. And there's still places, so please come along if you're available. The NHS contributes 4.6% to the country's carbon footprint, and obviously climate change will change how you see patients, your delivery of service, but also the types of issues that will come through your door. And the only people who know how to just decarbonise mental health care are clinicians. And so I'm delighted that this award is here, and I've got 2 nominations to commend to you. So the shortlisted nominations are Telford and Wrekin Community Mental Health Service Depot Clinic, the Midlands Partnership University NHS Foundation Trust. And Dorset Green Shoots Group, Dorset Healthcare University NHS Foundation Trust. And I'm delighted to say that the winner is Telford and Wrekin Community Mental Depot Clinic. Congratulations. Coming out this way, good. That's big step. Well done. Congratulations. It's very nice to meet you. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
That's it, that's lovely, that's great. And should we get them to? Yeah. Here you go, Paola. That's great. Lovely like that. Look at that. That's great. And again. Looking good. And again. Last one. And have you got a shot? Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to tell them a little bit about you first, so they know who you are. So the Telford and Wrekin Community Mental Health Depot Clinic provide and administer depot antipsychotic medication to often very vulnerable patients with serious mental health issues. And the clinics operate daily, and they have a team of dedicated staff who provide high-quality treatment interventions and work in a green and sustainable way, and they use quality improvement methodology to do that. The judging panel said, this project successfully improved the timeliness of medication delivery to patients, it prevented periods without necessary medication, and it reduced the risk of relapse due to treatment delays and potentially reduced the need for outpatient appointments and hospital admission. And of course, we know that that is a very sustainable thing to do because admitting people actually costs the planet. Patients have been empowered by enabling them to collect prescriptions at the pharmacy of their choice, and the changes have been permanently embedded into the team with a maintained plan, do, study, act style of making changes. Well done.
I think a lot of people have said today, but it really is a surprise to be stood up here. I don't think we expected to win this. I want to thank our care group director, Kathy Riley, for nominating us. And I'd like to thank our QI team, MPFT, for supporting us with the project. But most of all, I'd like to thank these guys, because these are the guys that put everything into place, that did all the hard work, put the extra time and effort in that was needed to follow through with the project, and have come up with the permanent, long-standing processes and systems now that support our patients and help us provide a top-class service. So thank you very much.
We do have a final award, actually, and this is a very, very special award, actually. We've had lots of special awards, but this is a very special award because it's the Royal College of Psychiatrists Lifetime Achievement Award. And we award one of these every year, and this year it's going to be presented to, he already knows actually, thank goodness, he knows we're getting it, to Dr. Peter Hughes. And we're going to have a look at what he's done.
Dearest Peter, many congratulations to you and your sisters on this amazing achievement. Like another Dubliner, Dr. Peter Byrne famously said, for once the college got it right.
Listen, Loris. Oh, they should do today instead of that.
Yeah. I mean, we regularly message him just to see, you know, where are you safe?
Yeah.
When you're back in the country, so you can meet up again.
Yeah. He's someone that once you've been around and worked with him, you will never ever forget them. Once seen, never forgotten.
Dr. Hughes has been absolutely marvelous for the last 20 plus years that I have known him, during which he has gone around the world teaching, working with voluntary organizations and developing intervention and treatment strategies.
Well, he's enthusiastic and very engaging. So when he's training, the participants really warm to him and are become enthusiastic about what he's saying. So he's a very warm-hearted, sort of personable person who puts his all into his teaching.
I think I was always taken aback by how much he put the service users and their voices first. I think that was admirable, and he always pulled us up on that to make sure that that was kind of paramount to what we were doing.
Peter always listened. The MDT meetings were a true MDT decision. All the nurses would be listened to, OTs, psychologists, whoever was part of the team in the meeting would be asked the question.
Dr. Hughes is a kind man with deep respect for his patients and families. He has this amazing humor, does not take himself seriously, but he's like an organized machine, wanting to do the best he can for his patients, and sometimes a bit too organized.
And something that he always made sure of is that everyone was taken care of in terms of has the patient got a toothbrush? Have they got toothpaste? Some of the basic needs, have they got sun cream? Every patient, they were always taken care of, and it's something that we really miss.
We've certainly met on a number of training courses and meetings overseas, and I guess in the college a few times as well. Most recently, we are both involved in teaching.
A nursing associate to a nurse on the ward, he gave me the confidence to speak up, to be able to approach the MDT. I'd done some of my first ward rounds with Dr. Hughes, and he was able to give me feedback, very constructive, and the fact that I really got listened to, so it made me develop confidence over the years, especially over the 5 to 6 years.
What he's been doing internationally is teaching something called MHGAP for WHO, which is a training program for primary care in low and middle income countries.
And obviously he'll be remembered for all his work overseas. Ever since I've known him, he's taken all the time to travel abroad. But I think he'll also be remembered for his jumpers.
Peter does not shy away from the greatest difficulties of our work. We will meet the families straight away when serious things have happened, and he's a great support of his colleagues.
He's a truly selfless individual. He's a real role model. Absolutely.
One of a kind, definitely. And his caring nature.
As we speak, he's in Armenia, helping Nagorno-Karabakh refugees and training community volunteers and others to deliver services in the times of crisis.
One of the things he'll certainly be remembered for is his willingness to go into dangerous places. So he has been working in Afghanistan, for example, in Kabul. So he does go into quite challenging places, and it's very useful. Yeah, it's very helpful to WHO for that reason, I think. Yeah, the other thing is, I think he'll be remembered by the people he's taught, you know.
I think for me, it's because he's taken all his annual leave, holiday time, and even unpaid leave for as long as I can remember to go to places that were ravaged by natural disasters, civil war, infectious diseases, and just gone there to make sure that the people there are looked after, and also teaching the people that he was leaving behind so that the mental health services is more robust in those areas.
He has done a tremendous amount of work in the last 20 plus years on mental health gap, and worked for the WHO. He led London Division. He led voluntary special interest group for the college.
Peter will be remembered for his tireless work and teaching in the realm of international psychiatry. This humble, quiet man is well known inside and outside our profession. I have pleaded with him not to go to Syria or the Afghanistan of the Taliban's, to know our way. And as it happens in our deep thinking, analytic, while self-important profession, his colleagues have figured it out that all this has to be some sort of a death wish. It is in fact an act of courage. Peter loves life, but he's driven to make this world a better place. He will have taken this from his parents in Ireland, Billy and Teresa Hughes were altruistic people, working as volunteers with people with learning difficulties. How his parents would have loved this honor. The college is giving their son today.
I think he's a deserving person because he's very energetic, enthusiastic, engages people in wanting to prioritise mental health issues, particularly in primary care.
For all the work that Peter has done as a volunteer, as a teacher, as a trainer, as influencing policy, this award of lifetime achievement from the college is richly deserved. Congratulations, Peter. Well done. We're all very proud of you.
Peter will be remembered for his tireless work and teaching in the realm of international psychiatry. This humble, quiet man is well known inside and outside our profession. Peter has shown us what a dire situation it is for mental health in so many countries of this planet, and how we can take pride in our profession and really change things with training, teaching, and being agents for those who suffer the most in this beautiful world of ours. In essence, how to be brave. I can think of no one as genuinely worthy of this great honor. Well done, Peter. I'm very proud of being your friend. Many congratulations. Well done, college. Thanks so much for this timely recognition of one of our best. Thank you.
So I'd like to welcome Dr. Adrian James to the stage to give Peter his award.
Might stay here, actually. Wow, one of our best, absolutely well said. I'm delighted to be here, particularly presenting this award. And on this day, it's my first time back in the college since I demitted as president, and it's great to see all the fabulous work that's going on. And congratulations to all the winners here, but everybody is a winner here. And most importantly, because of the great work that you're doing, our patients are the winners. But the Lifetime Achievement Award is always given to an absolutely extraordinary individual. And there's no more worthy recipient than Dr. Peter Hughes. He's an extraordinary human being above all else, and it's such a privilege to have him as part of our profession. He's a skilled psychiatrist. He's a great leader. He started our volunteering special interest group, and he chaired our London division. But as you've heard, Peter is known for his work throughout the world, extraordinary work where there is danger, where there is risk, and there is a need for expertise. That's where Peter goes. When everybody else, the inclination is to run the opposite direction, Peter is on a plane, in a boat, in a car, heading towards danger. Now, why do we do the work that we all do? And that's because we have the privilege of being in a room with an individual who is often at the lowest ebb in their life, suffering a mental health crisis, suffering with mental illness, and we have the skills, we have the ability, we have the resources to help somebody move to a more positive place. Now, Peter does that, but in the most extreme circumstances where their world is literally often falling apart around them, whether that's physically or politically, where their world is disintegrating, where they are in the most extreme circumstances, and Peter can bring his skills to that situation. And sometimes the skill is knowing when not to make something into something which is a mental health issue. So that's important as well. Now, I don't know if anybody else heard the famous war photographer, Don McCullum, speaking on Radio 4 earlier on this week, and he was asked about his lifetime taking these very famous photographs of war, of soldiers, but the impact of war. And he said he took those photographs because he wanted to make a difference. He wanted for people to see the horror of war, and he wanted to influence people politically. And when asked to sum up, he said, well, it's all been a waste of time because nothing had really changed. Now, this is the very opposite for Peter, because Peter actually goes to these parts of the world. He influences countries, politicians, policymakers. He sits alongside colleagues, and mostly importantly, he sits alongside those who are at the lowest ebb in their life, in the most extreme circumstances. And I've spoken to Peter. We have our emergency committee that we formed, and Peter would join us from Kabul and in the middle of the most extreme circumstances. So it's always been humbling to have any contact with you, Peter. You're an amazing human being, and you're a real. It's a privilege to have you as part of our profession. You're a credit to us, and the most outstanding person, I think. And so there can be no more worthy recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award than Dr. Peter Hughes.
So we're going to have a chance to have I think, Peter, you're going to come and say some words for us, aren't you? We're going to have a little chat. Is that all right?
Yes.
He's looking like he doesn't know about this. He does know about this, actually. So, do you want to have a seat? So we've heard about Peter's work, and for those of you who didn't know about Peter before today, Peter is someone who is a psychiatrist in London, but does spend much of his time helping people all across the world, and not just, parachuting in. I think, the term is a seagull, parachuting in and then spraying all around and then disappearing again and making a mess, but actually going to countries and supporting people so that they can deliver mental health services to the most needy at the most acute times when they need it. And not just when, and as Peter has told me, actually, not right now. You need to just wait until things have settled down a little bit. Anyway, so Peter, can you tell us what you're doing now?
Firstly, I have to say about this award, I really feel a little bit embarrassed and overwhelmed by all of this, and I think people will know that people don't often get me into a suit. So I'm normally in my jumpers, so this is my honor to the college. And then I have to remember, before I forget, I have to thank all my family and friends for coming along. My sisters have come from Ireland and Rwanda to be here. And before I forget as well, I better say hi to Austin and hi to Tamara in Rwanda. I think they're looking in. So the question is, what am I doing now? I'm living in Armenia. Mm-hmm. I never thought I'd be living in Armenia. It's a country I never thought about, but it's actually been really part of my life since May, because I was working on a project which was a cross between Armenia and Azerbaijan. It was a project about promoting peace. That didn't go very well. because as you know, when I was finishing the project at the end of September, I was in Armenia and all hell broke loose in Armenia, and it was really, really difficult. And I guess I got caught up in that as well, because I understood what people were feeling because of the loss of their ancestral homeland of Nagorno-Karabakh. And then all the flights were cancelled. But the next thing was I had to go to Azerbaijan. And this was really strange, because I was actually on both sides of this conflict. So I did my work in Azerbaijan and then left. And then 100,000 people left Nagorno-Karabakh, a place that people maybe haven't heard about. So they came to Armenia. So I was called to work with them because I know Armenia. So I've been working with the refugees there, and today is Wednesday. I think last Wednesday I was working with a load of refugees in a shelter. So it's kind of surreal to be here this week. That's the short answer.
I mean, how did you get into this work? How did you get into this global work?
Well, I'm looking at my sister there because it's a bit of a family business. And I think my sister, I was going to say how long you've been in Africa, but that will tell everyone your age. But it was kind of like a family business, and I've always kind of was really interested. And another reason is I'm sorry for the climate people, but I love planes. I love traveling, so that was another thing.
Okay. And, I mean, you set up the volunteering special interest group, but, what would you say to people who were interested in volunteering and doing the kind of thing that you do?
Well, I say as a psychiatrist and other professions, that it really kind of doubles your professional skills. And I would say I think that I'm a much better psychiatrist because of all the experiences I've had overseas, low resources, different cultures, and really seeing people maybe in a very extreme sort of way, and coming back to the NHS and being also very thankful for what we have here. And I think we forget sometimes how fantastic the NHS is. But I do tell people, go for it. It's the most amazing, enriching experience. It can change you. Can cause problems as well, because you can get a bit addicted to it, which is my problem. And I'm still there at that phase.
Okay. And when you go, what kind of work do you do?
So, as we've heard already, less and less direct clinical work. So that's more unusual. But last week, I was talking to refugees and trying to really listen to them and their loss. And it was a kind of a funny thing as well, because we were talking about not just the loss of their home, which they described as like Switzerland, it was about their animals that they lost. And also, but all at the same time, in that group, there were 2 weddings being planned. So there's also like which reminds me of all the resilience that people have. Otherwise, I do a lot of training of health workers, volunteers, and I was just thinking during this that you've been sitting for so long. If I was doing a training at this stage, I would definitely be getting you standing up and doing some exercise to keep you awake.
So we assemble later.
But we don't have long to go, and this is the last thing. So sometimes it's working with ministries of health. So I'll do a lot kind of policy, development of services. So, for example, in Armenia, we're set. One of the first things we had to do there was, in Nagorno-Karabakh, there was 200 people killed in a huge fuel explosion. So 100 people were in the hospital in Yerevan, in the burns unit. So first day there, we go to the hospital and we start training up psychologists to do some work with the burns victims. And we're still doing that. It wasn't what I expected, but that was the first need. So we do all sorts, quite a range of things. In Afghanistan, really we wanted to work on focusing on women and training up women to do work. And it was an absolute joy to do the trainings in Afghanistan. And they were so receptive. Sometimes it could be a little bit chilling, because I remember one day I asked, in Afghanistan, what's the worst thing that could happen to you? And they said, to have a daughter.
Oh.
And how you work around that. And I did it. I worked out some ways of kind of how people could have a different way of thinking about that. But it isn't parachute, because you have to be really humble and listen to people there. Culture comes up again and again and again. You have to, you know that you're a guest of that place, and you're not going to be, which is why I don't do so much clinical work, because I don't know the culture. An example I can give is when I worked in Haiti. I worked with someone, and he came in one day and said, I couldn't come into work yesterday because I had a bad dream. And the local people said, yeah, that's a good excuse. I don't know if you'd be able to use that in the NHS here.
Yeah, yeah. It's a mental health day.
It was kind of, yeah, and also they said, yeah, we don't do this voodoo at all. This is, and then every night voodoo drums.
Right.
So understanding the culture, I don't think I will do. But you do your best, and you use the skills that I've privileged to have trained as a psychiatrist in the UK and learned so much here that I'm able to share a bit. And of course, where we learn the most is from our patients. And so I've learned from all my patients in London and everywhere. And I've learned from the people I train in different countries.
Excellent. What about safety?
Right. Safety, my family think that I ring up and ask for the most dangerous place to go to. And they, as Freddie says, have I a death wish? I don't. I don't get called to go to Barbados. I don't get called to go to very nice places. I'll go where I'm asked to go to, but I do make sure that security is okay. Now, I'll tell my sisters to close their ears now. As this time last year, I was listening to the awards in Kabul, which was quite strange. But I was in a hotel, and we had a big ISIS attack outside. And but what really helped was I knew I was safe, because all security had been gone through. So I knew the doors were secure. So if ISIS had come in, I wouldn't be here, but they weren't, because the doors were secure. And a horrible thing to say, but we just waited till everyone was dead. And then we went home, and then my boss, who was French, kept talking to me about, well, we think it might have been a lonely wolf. And all I could do was just smile after that, thinking of the lonely wolf. But that's exception. Otherwise, I'm pretty careful about safety. I follow the rules. I'm not going to put myself in danger. What I do get afraid about is earthquakes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah.
And COVID.
Yeah. So, when does it help to, do you have languages and things like that?
I did get by in French, and I can get by in Arabic. So that's kind of quite helpful. And I might be going to Syria next year, so Arabic will be useful there. And I'll really build on my Arabic skills.
Okay. And how do you look after yourself when you're in war zone?
Well, there's funny sorts of things, like being able to use WhatsApp.
Okay.
And ring home. And the conversations are not very interesting, like what are you having for lunch? What's the traffic like? Is it raining? And that kind of keeps me sane, as well as just I'm pretty good at when I finish my work, I I leave and I go home, and Netflix is really good.
Yeah. Below deck.
But I'm going next week to a place with no Netflix, so I'm a little bit scared of that.
Okay. And what would you say the challenges were?
The challenges are, I mean, this is a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I kind of always think, what have I achieved? I know that I'm working clinically and I'm dealing with patients, which I love, and I really miss it. You kind of know what you have achieved. But in this kind of global work, it's harder to work out the achievements because you're doing things. I know my sister has said that all we do is workshops. And it is a bit like that. We do workshops a lot, which is training, but that is something that you achieve. The challenges are sometimes working with the bad guys, and I've worked with different governments who people won't like so much. The Taliban I've worked with, and they were fine. Maybe it's because I was a man, they were fine. And I worked with them. All their answers to everything were religious, but you get around that. So challenges are resources. For example, we have this big crisis in Armenia, but now everyone is talking about Gaza, and I don't take away from Gaza, but we're not getting any resources, and we need it. So there's kind of the support is kind of reactionary to where the media is, and everywhere. Like Gaza, of course, is a huge need. We have a huge need in Armenia and Sudan. People forget about Sudan, and I could mention so many other conflicts and natural disasters that really need ongoing resources. The Rohingya in Bangladesh, people don't even think about them.
Yeah, okay. And, given all that, what do you actually like about the work?
Well, I think someone mentioned in the video that it's kind of like a drive. So there's that, but there's nothing better than doing a training or being in a clinical situation in a different sort of environment that really challenges you. And the people you meet. And even though last week talking to refugees was really hard, because it was really painful, and I've seen that sort of pain. The last time I saw it like that was the Yazidi people in Iraq. But I kind of, I wouldn't say I liked that, but I felt that I was doing something good. And I told people that they weren't suffering mental illness, and they really liked to hear that.
Okay.
So I was kind of taking away this mental health stigma, which is a huge stigma. When it's there, our job as well is to pick these things up, but not stigmatize and label people as having mental illness who are just having normal loss reaction. Mainly I'm going to be talking about sleep and whatever they want to talk about.
I think that's absolutely right, actually, especially, we could learn something here, couldn't we? Because oftentimes it does take the psychiatrist to say, there's nothing wrong with you, this is normal, this stress.
And one thing is that when I'm doing a training or something, and people have said to me afterwards, we didn't know what profession you were, we thought you might have been a social worker. And I thought, okay, I take that. That's kind of a compliment, because doing this global work, you go beyond professions. You're not going to be a psychiatrist anymore. You're a psychiatrist, you're a psychologist, you're a social worker. You're someone who's going to advise about latrines, anything. It's really wide area.
So what could the college do? What do you think?
Well, the college has really been my springboard into doing this work. Many years ago, I wrote to the president at the time, Sheila Hollins, and she responded and said, these are things you can get involved with in the college. And it's really been non-stop since. So the college we set up our volunteering special interest group, and I'm passionate about trainees especially getting some global mental health experience. And the college has been fantastic in its support of this sort of work. And the college is an international college, and the college has been very helpful and supportive in terms of like emergencies and the international work as well.
Yeah, I have to say, actually, Peter's been fantastic over the past few weeks. We have, as Adrian has said, actually have a weekly meeting. We have an international team. Peter's part of that team, and Peter supports us and advises us about what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do. And sometimes, when what we have to do is wait and see. Anyway.
And I'd have to say that when I say what's right and wrong, I'm kind of following other people's advice. It's not just from the top of my head.
Yeah. So I have here this amazing book. And I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about this book. It's got his name on it.
It's the first time I've seen it and held it. So it's being published this week. It was a lockdown project, and for anyone who's written books, it's not easy. It was an agony. And you go back in so many drafts. It did my head in, I can tell you. So this book is, I have to speak without being too conceited, but I would have loved this book when I started off. It's about some of the theory of global mental health. It's about emergencies. It's practical as well. It's about what to pack if you're doing things, what to do and what not to do. Things like don't go and try and save the world. If you're afraid of spiders, it's not for you. That sort of thing. So we wanted to make it quite light and digestible. So apologies to any academic people. It's academic light. And I hope you might. Well, I have flyers. Anyone who's interested, I can give you the information about the book.
Okay.
Oh, and the money goes back to the college.
Oh, that's good. Anyway, so Peter's going to be signing this. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you, obviously, to Peter. Thank you to all of you who came today. To those of you who were nominated, brilliant. And to those of you who were won, you won by a point because everyone was so good. But most of all, I want to say thank you to Peter. What we've heard today, a small snippet of the work that he's done. He has been remarkable, incredible. I found it inspiring. It's making me think that I'm going to go. That's my next job, actually.
Come along.
I will, actually, but I'm going to go somewhere very nice. But Peter, thank you so much for sharing your life with us. And I think we should stand for Peter and say, well done. Okay, and I think, so those of you who have, would like, I think, have been nominated, I think you can have some photographs in here if you'd like, and we also have some drinks, I think, for people in the room there, just behind this one. So there's drinks and mingling and, saying congratulations to each other, well done to everyone, things like that. Thank you.